Bolt your windows. Lock your doors. Check your closets. Look under your bed. And then prepare yourself. For it's another episode of Dark Night of the Podcast. Whoa!
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners and fans, new and old, every once in a blue moon, life comes at you like a freight train, and it throws something at you that you're not prepared for. And you just gotta roll with the punches and do your very best to rise above it. And I have to say that I'm currently in the middle of one of those situations. So if the sound quality is perhaps a little subpar, or if maybe you get a little blip of static right now, I want you to understand that that is because I am currently recording from Colombia. How are you, Troy?
I am not recording from Colombia, but I'm great. I'm great. Yeah, I'm glad we got to do this, because there was a second there where we were like, oh shoot, we aren't going to be able to put out an episode for a while because you are in Colombia for a little bit longer than you anticipated.
You know, I am, and let me let the fans and listeners know that the current situation is something that took us a bit by surprise. Originally, I was supposed to be returning home today. I was supposed to be coming home, and we were going to be recording a side-splitting new episode reviewing the 1988 iconic title, American Gothic. Unfortunately, but also in its own way, fortunately as well, that is not the case today, because the fate will have it that upon receiving my COVID test that I need to take in order to be readmitted into my home country of the US of A, I learned that I am, in fact, positive for the COVID. I have the coronavirus, lo and behold, and I am not able to leave my hotel room for 10 days. So I'm here, trapped, sequestered in Colombia, in Cartagena. It is beautiful, but it is also third world country-esque. And I have no idea really how to speak Spanish other than the basic hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien y tú. You know, all the basics. So here I am with the COVID, with nowhere to go, in my hotel room, slowly losing my mind. But what better way to get through this experience than recording an episode with you, Troy?
Well, I am very, very sorry to hear that you have COVID. That you told me yesterday, and I was like, damn, that is, you know, some not good stuff. But at least, you know, you're feeling well, right? You don't have any symptoms.
Yeah, I'm pretty much asymptomatic.
Okay.
The only things I've really had are like, honestly, what I thought were the equivalent of bad seasonal allergies, which I associated with being in a different country.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I was just responding poorly to the climate and to the extensive amount of plant life around me. It's beautiful, but it's everywhere.
Well, good. We hope that your COVID test comes back negative sooner than later. We're glad that you're feeling fine. Hopefully it continues, you know, and because you were sequestered in a hotel room with nothing to do, hey, we might get an episode a day out. Who knows?
My God, I am planning on it. And you know what? For all we know, this might give us the best material we've had yet. The sound quality might be shit, but the entertainment factor's there. And I'm ready. I'm ready to get into this with you. So we are jumping into a title a little bit unexpected. But we picked something to make up for the lack of American Gothic. We picked something in honor of the next holiday that's just around the corner. It's not next week and it's not the week after, but it's a coming. And it's Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Yes.
And in honor of Memorial Day, what title did we pick, Troy?
We hastily picked, because we just actually agreed on it about 3 hours ago. We picked Memorial Valley Massacre.
Yes, Memorial Valley Massacre, a classic in its own right and regard, in more ways than I honestly anticipated or remembered. This film is unlike many other films of the genre.
So yes, I know that this is a title that is not very popular. So a lot of listeners might not have seen it. So if you have not seen Memorial Valley Massacre, please stop what you're doing right this second and go locate it, because it is a film that you need to see.
It needs to be seen in order to be understood. I'll say that you can't just listen to this episode without having seen the source material.
No, and I don't even know when this. I know because we picked it so quickly. I didn't really do my typical, background research. Okay, it came out in 1989. Apparently, I do remember.
Yeah, it had a few even alternate titles before they somehow stumbled upon. Well, I mean, it makes sense. Memorial Valley Massacre, honestly, is a straightforward title.
Well, one of the titles that it had that I just found super just odd. It was one of the original titles, or one of the titles attached. It was "Son of Sleepaway Camp." Did you see that?
I did see that, and it really, I mean, it has no association with Sleepaway Camp whatsoever. The only thing even remotely similar is that it's on a campground, not even like a summer camp, just a campground. So there really is nothing to do with it.
Is it a campground though? It looks like they just put a building out in the middle of nowhere, and
in the middle of like a rural hillside.
Yes. And they
really.
I love the whole movie. They're acting like this is the most majestic looking place, serene looking place in the world, and it literally looks like a fucking back desert.
They say it's like preserved by God at one point, like it's untouched by man. And it really, like, around the trees there's like bark chips and everything that you see on a town's park. You know how they the trees have like those like wood chips around them. It looks very inhabited.
Beer cans laying around.
Yeah, but what this film lacks in budget and overall sense, it makes up for with chutzpah and heart.
Yeah. So again,
yes.
before you listen to this, go watch the film and come back, because you'll find this much more enjoyable. So yeah, let's get into Memorial Valley Massacre.
So yes, Memorial Valley Massacre, the title that was decided upon after previous titles being, as you mentioned, Son of Sleepaway Camp and Valley of Death. This title was directed by one Robert Hughes. Not a lot of titles under this guy's belt that we're going to really be familiar with, though if you are in our age bracket, you might fancy the fact that he did direct, I believe, 21 episodes of the Power Rangers series, as well as the TV series VR Troopers. Troy, I don't know if you remember either of those. I'm sure you know what Power Rangers are, but seeing the film quality of this movie, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. I've never seen an episode of Power Rangers, but I'm assuming, hey, good on him for going from Memorial Valley Massacre to Power Rangers.
I mean, he stuck with it. A lot of filmmakers just, they're a one and done. This guy, at least he maintained a career. This movie is a low budget fare, and it does show in the overall production value, I will say, though they do manage to pull off some pretty shots over the course of the film. There's some cranes, there's some dollies, but as you did mention, the location does leave something to be desired. It is filmed almost entirely in a woodland mountainscape. It does seem very much like something where a bunch of people got together and were like filming in someone's backyard location. But there are a lot of characters. They got a lot of actors on this location. And this cast at one point does have about 20 revolving characters. It's very hard to keep track. Listeners, please understand that there are a lot of characters whose names I genuinely do not know what they are still. So we're going in kind of blind, but this movie, as I said, it does have a lot of humor to it. Unintentional, but it is a fun watch.
Yeah, it is a fun watch. It is a fun watch. So the film basically opens with some beautiful shots of animals frolicking in the mountain terrain, and a long caravan of RVs coming down the road. There's a whole line of them. And what we find out is that this is Memorial Valley Campground. This is its opening weekend. And so all of these people are very excited to come camping at Memorial Valley Campground. However, they soon learn that the camp is not really necessarily ready to be open. There's no running water. There is just
a recent death. There was a death of an employee, I believe was mentioned.
A death of an employee just that morning. A dead dog is found in the water tank.
A lot of things that would normally, I think, individual situations that would shut down this kind of a venture. I mean, just the dog in the well alone, tainting, literally, they say it taints the water supply. To me, I would say, well, that's problematic. We're going to have to shut this down. But no, the owner of the Memorial Park is very adamant that this park will open. And we enter what I take to be a very Jaws-like situation. The owner, Alan, is very much the mayor from Jaws, and instead of a seaside town, we are giving Memorial Valley Park, which is far less effective, as we stated earlier. But to set it up, we're basically talking Jaws on land with a killer instead of a shark.
Yeah, and he is adamant that they are going to open because this is his new development project. He has huge plans for this plot of land, including, I don't know if you heard, but including condominiums, a shopping center. And I just kept thinking this terrain does not suit condominiums or a shopping center. But hey.
Not whatsoever. I mean, well, first of all of these people are coming from nowhere, but I really think they spent the entire budget of the film on extras because they do manage to get a significant amount of bodies on that rural landscape.
There is, but then it looks like there's a whole, the opening of the film, it looks like there's just tons of campers coming down the road, which there is. But then when you get to this scene where the George, who I guess is serving as the park ranger, talks to the crowd, it's kind of dwindled a little bit. So I was wondering where everybody went.
Well, they do provide the explanation to really cut down on the overall amount of people on set because I don't think they could afford to feed everybody beyond one day. They do actually say within the dialogue that since the water is no longer running, there are no longer bathrooms, and so they will be providing toilet paper to everybody, and they're going to have to shit in the woods. And people do not seem to like that, and they literally do make a point of saying, "Well, for those of you who stuck around, you're the real troopers." They do acknowledge that fact, but it does get down to what I would say is maybe 20 campers, whereas at one point it seemed like roughly 100.
Yeah, and in the meantime, the son of the owner of the camp or the developer of the camp, David, shows up. And he's all, he's such a bright-eyed, chipper. He's all motivated to work at this summer camp. But apparently, they really don't want him there. But he joins.
He forces himself on it.
He forces himself on it, and he's a nice character. I don't mind him.
He's a likable lead. He bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah.
And well-intentioned, and he knows a lot about the local terrain and the nature and the animals and everything that factors into it. He seemed to actually care, whereas his father does not.
And it doesn't hurt that he looks bad shirtless, right? Okay.
He looks pretty good.
He looks good shirtless. I meant he looks good shirtless. That's what I meant. Okay, so he shows up, and then there is the scene where he is telling, or George, who is the camp council, the camp. Or what the fuck is he? The ranger? I don't know what he is.
Yeah, he's the overseer of the camp.
Perfect. We'll call him the over. He is literally, I just had to laugh because, I don't know, I find stuff like this funny. He is literally, there's a crowd of 20 people in front of him, right? It's not a huge crowd. It's about 20 people. And they're about 5 feet from him. And he is literally talking at him through a megaphone.
Yes.
Because,
again, I think trying to convince the viewers that there is, more people than they have at that point in time.
No, it's 20 people and they're 5 feet in front of him, and he's using
Exactly, yeah.
And then this is when you get introduced to I say this in the nicest way. I'm not stereotyping. When he tells the people that, you know, there's going to be no bathrooms temporarily, what I thought was a lesbian says, "What do you mean temporarily?" Come to find out, it's not a lesbian. It is a
fat child who is very tall.
It's apparently a teenage boy named Walter, who is okay.
He is a lesbian in a lot. Like, he really does strike me as a lesbian now that you say it.
Yes,
even down to his attitude. Continue.
Well, and he has his little blue shorts on and his yellow, you know, a very lesbian outfit. I don't know. I'm just joking, but I did not. I thought it was a lesbian. It's not. So then it's established, obviously, that George doesn't want the son there. There's all this like banter back and forth between those two. It gets kind of old, but by the end of the movie, they do kind of form a little bit of a bond and get along a lot better. But most of the movie is them bickering about, oh, I don't want you here. Why are you here? And after this scene, we get this wonderful montage of it's goofy, like horn music, like really goofy comedy horns. And it's just a montage of people randomly just like setting up their campsites. So you get failing. Like there's like a camp. Some of them cut down a tree to park their RV there. Somebody drops all their garbage on the floor. It's just, but this goofy horn music, I kept thinking, is this Abbott and Costello? It's like, and just people are just doing the most ridiculous things. I was like, okay.
One thing to acknowledge about this film in general, beginning to end, is the score is grating. It is like what sounds to me like an early MIDI file, and it's always the wrong tone. Like, it never is capturing the moment. It's always like contrasting it.
Yes.
So if they're trying to present something like, I don't know, serious, the music comes across like kind of comedic. The opening score, like the music right off the bat, it's very pure and jovial. And like there's nothing fearful about it whatsoever. So like, yeah, the score is really off, and it makes the movie like hard to take in as an overall entity.
Yeah, I agree. The score for this movie is probably one of the oddest score choices I don't understand. If they actually had somebody actually score this film, like sit down and score the film, or if they just used a bunch of like stock music they found and just strung it together.
It definitely reads as stock music. There's even points where it sounds like they cue in different scores, like different pieces of score, like really sloppily. Like the audio in general is a mess. There's dialogue bits that just are not like leveled out whatsoever, and like you'll hear like the background just completely go silent for a minute, like very amateur mistakes that you would expect to see in a movie with, you know, even less experience than the people making this. So it does read very amateur in a lot of ways.
Well, yes, because after this lovely montage of people failing at setting up their camping sites, we get the kind of the first glimpse of the killer, and because George is in a cabin and he is, you know, the window screen falls off, so he fixes the window screen and then leaves the cabin and shuts the door, and behind the door is our first glimpse of this killer. And
full face. There's no mystery.
Full face, and to me it looked like a dirty Alanis Morissette. It literally looked like Alanis Morissette was out in the woods, like, and got dirty. And
if Alanis Morissette's like chopper went down and she had been living off the land for 3 months and she stumbled upon this campsite, that would be Alanis Morissette. Dreaded hair, a horrible wig.
Isn't it ironic?
Isn't it ironic? with one hand in her pocket and another hand on a butcher knife. But her hair is dreaded. The teeth are really like bad theatrical dentures.
Yeah.
This character is wearing like a caveman costume that leaves very little to the imagination.
I was wondering about this costume choice because this person is not a caveman. Okay.
But he does look like someone who's like stumbled out of Encino Man.
Where did he get this outfit? Particularly because you know there's an explanation of who it is. It's not a fucking caveman. It's not somebody from that prehistoric era that happened to freeze and then come back. No, this is a real person that just happened to be kidnapped. So why the fuck is he dressed like a caveman?
And like, if we're going to just tell the people like who this is, like right off the bat, which is fine. Like I don't mind jumping around with this one because it is nonsensical. But this person, like they make it seem like this person has been missing for what I assume to be years. Yeah. But like he seems to be, in what I have gathered, living on the cusp of this park, and like I don't understand. Like it's not like it takes a lot for them to make contact with him. Like he's interacting with people, not interacting, he's killing them. Yes. But he's like right there, like all up in it. And they make it seem like this person's been missing for a very long time. And then they make it seem like you're never gonna find him.
You had literally in the film like 5 inexperienced campers walk right into his cave, find it easily,
stumble upon him,
but then they're like, "Oh, nobody's been able to track him. Nobody's been able to find him. You're never going to find him." I'm like, all of you did a pretty good job 20 minutes ago walking into his cave. I mean, it's so nonsense. But we'll get to who it is in the backstory. And so he's in this cabin, and then this pickup truck pulls up, and there's a Doberman Pinscher dog that's in the back, and it's all riled up. And apparently this caveman dude doesn't like dogs because he literally starts basically destroying the cabin, like throwing things around and screaming. And the dog obviously hears and goes into the cabin, and it's very much hinted that he kills the dog. I don't know what the film's fascination with dead dogs is, but it's 10 minutes in and we already have 2 dead dogs. So take that.
And it's never followed up on. Like
it's never
owners of the dog.
No,
you never even see them again.
No, you would think they'd be like, "Hey, where'd Charlie go? We haven't seen him." Nope. We don't know. Whatever.
And the dog so the dog like jumps out. The dog jumps out of the back of a pickup truck and like scuttles like 10 feet into the little hut where this man is like hiding, and he's immediately killed. Like there's nowhere else for the dog to really go. So it's very obvious that where the dog went. And already it makes no sense. Like this film starts off with real loose rules, real loose.
Oh yes, because then and you are right, because there are so many characters that are introduced in this film, and most of them, have, I will say that most of the characters that are focused on do have kind of their own things to do in the film, their own time, their own screen time. But it's just so like jarring to see the way that the scenes just cut to different people all the time. Because now after we got introduced to the Doberman owner that we never see again, now we get introduced to what I'm assuming is this motorcycle gang. I wouldn't say a gang, but it's a group of motorcyclists, right?
Yes.
And this is the most hodgepodge,
non-threatening,
diverse group of motorcycle people I've ever seen in a movie. You got like kind of the head motorcycle dude that's your traditional, what I would say, kind of, he looks like he's a macho, no holds bars, he's drinking beer. And then you got the other male motorcycle guy that has a mullet and is wearing the tightest mom jeans I've ever seen, like pulled up to his stomach. Yes. And then there's just like a bunch of random, like young, I guess, pretty women that are there. Then there's an African-American couple that are totally underused. In fact, I don't even know whatever happens to the guy, the male part of the couple. He just kind of disappears in the film.
Of the African-American couple?
Yes.
I know what happens to him, but it's like people are dispatched in such like
Well, I know what happens to the woman, but like, then apparently
all three of them. No,
okay.
We'll touch on that.
Yeah,
we'll be back around to it. Let me just say one. Okay, first of all, an example of how hard it is to keep track of these characters. So I went to IMDb to make sure I was understanding it right. And one of the characters is named Leon and another one is named Eddie, two of the two leaders of the motorcycle group. To clarify, one is handsome, one looks very unattractive and is like a typical biker gang guy. Mm-hmm. So I went to IMDb to try to figure out like which was which. And literally for both of their IMDbs, they both have photos of only the overweight man. So like like on the IMDb, it does not even specify which actor is which. So I cannot decipher which is which. But it's very confusing. I mean, like, and a lot of these actors, this is the only thing that they really ever did. God love them. You know, they're trying. But one thing I do want to say about, you know, you said that the motorcycle gang is diverse. And overall, within the course of the great scheme of things within this film, there are 3 African-American characters. And not one of them dies before the hour mark of this film. Mm-hmm. And B, 2 of the 3, the female barely does anything, but the 2 guys both are kind of the only voices of reason within their own individual groups throughout the whole course of the movie. It's completely breaking the trope of like, you know, first character to die, stereotypical black character. Both of these black male characters, one's name is like Deke, you know, the older guy who's like the other overseer of the camp. Mm-hmm. He's like the source of wisdom and knowledge. And then the other one in the motorcycle group, he's the one who's like, guys, we really need to get the fuck out of here. This sounds like bad news. And everybody else is like, no. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a pussy. So I was like, you know what? Good on them for being a 1980s slasher that totally broke the mold and broke the stereotype and had at least wrote these characters to be fleshed out, evolved, realistic, and not like a typical portrayal. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I totally understand. Although like I said, I feel like the African American couple, part of the motorcycle gang, are very underdeveloped. Like they aren't really given much to do. Particularly, like you said, the female, her whole stick is to stand around and just make kind of sassy comments, which to me is very stereotypical. But absolutely, it is refreshing to see the diversity, particularly like in a motorcycle gang, because you don't typically associate African. Not, you know, I'm not going, but you don't, you know, you don't. So it was interesting to see that the choices they made with the actors who portrayed these characters. And again, I'm all about diversity. The kind of the main guy, the main African American guy, the one that seems like he's like the caretaker of the camp. He kind of reminded me of the character in Sleepaway Camp, the original Sleepaway Camp. Yeah,
I totally hear what you're saying with that.
Cook, because he was very like, he kind of knew, he was one of the few characters with actual brains that could kind of string together what was going on. And was like kind of no nonsense. What was his name? Willie, I think. I don't know. Anyway, so they are all complaining because apparently now, and this is 1989, apparently motorcycle gangs aren't popular anymore because they're like, oh, well, we're the only motorcycle gangs here. Apparently the days of, you know, hundreds of, you know, motorcycles traveling is over. I don't know. Weird. And then one of the males throws his knife at a tree. And this is when the Walter, the lesbian, comes and steals the knife. He pulls the knife.
The presumed lesbian.
No, and there's nothing wrong with it. I literally thought this was a female character.
I know.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's so. And I was like, oh God, not only do they have African American, you know, representation, they have queer. There's a nice little lesbian in here, but it's not. It's Walter. Okay.
The fact that you're like, wow, that's really really progressive. Oh no, it's just an overweight young man. Yeah. But yes, no. And let me tell you, this this character of Walter, if I were to rank a top 5 characters I detest most in a film ever,
I was thinking this.
Regardless of genre, he would place in the top 3.
Oh, he's miserable. He is miserable. And he's not even in the film, honestly, that much. And he has like 5 lines. But this kid is the most miserable.
Pause. This grown man playing
Yes,
child.
no, you're right. Yes, this is a 35-year-old playing a 14-year-old. Okay, and
not only is he detestable, but his parents are
his
detestable.
his mother,
Rita,
the one that comes out in the neon, outfit. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So Walter, I'll call him Walter from now on.
Yeah.
Walter steals a knife because apparently he's a thief because
he's a kleptomaniac.
Yeah. Okay, and then it cuts. Okay, so then we cut to another scene of people that like come running out of the woods to get George because there are snakes all over their food. And
when you say snakes, you assume it's going to be like 2 or 3.
No,
but then...
it is a barrel full of snakes. Like they must have rounded up every fucking snake they could find and literally just dumped a barrel of snakes on this picnic table. It's covered with snakes.
I'm assuming that the reason that this film even got made to begin with is because someone knew a snake wrangler and gathered.
Okay, but they're like freaking out. Saying, "Oh my god, these are poisonous." They are garter snakes. They're clearly garter snakes. I grew up in the US. I know what a garter snake. This is a garter snake. These are not like pythons. Okay,
right?
And they're acting like they're freaking out. They're like beating them with a shovel. And there's a scene of the George beating the picnic table with a shovel, and you could just tell it's like plastic. It's like rubber snakes bouncing up and down. And then they take a fire extinguisher. I didn't know fire extinguishers killed snakes, but it is ridiculous. And then the people are like, "We're leaving. This is dangerous."
Well, again, regardless of what kind of snake it is, if they're trying to present them as foreboding snakes, I would feel that the worst decision George could make in that moment would be to start beating them with a shovel, because there's so many snakes that all I can imagine is now you're provoking them and you're causing them to spill over the edge of this picnic table. They're everywhere, and I would think that the snakes would just start attacking. There's no way you could beat every one of these snakes into submission.
Well, that's what he got. That's what he got the fire extinguisher for, Roger.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Okay.
and sprayed him with the fire extinguisher. Okay, so this couple freaks out, and again, we get more of George and David bickering back and forth. I'm like, oh my god, just fuck already, please, because this is ridiculous.
Yes.
And then now we cut to more characters, and this is, I don't know who these people are. I bless my heart, I tried to figure out, especially the girl. But it's a group of young, I just put in my notes, I just called them teenagers, although I do know that one's Rick, and then later we find out Joe or John, I don't know.
Tom,
I was whatever.
And her name is Wendy.
Oh, Wendy. You were paying more attention than
because they're carving it into a tree.
Oh.
Okay, so I know one's name is Rick, you're right, and one is, I believe, Tom. And then the girl is, I thought it was Whitney, but I'm pretty sure it's Wendy. So I'm going to go with Wendy.
Okay. And these characters are insufferable as well, just let me say. I was not a fan.
All three of them.
And I don't know, like, so they're teenagers, right? These kids look like they're like 16, and they're camping by themselves, and like the two guys like want to fuck the girl. It's very obvious, and she is definitely into it, because there's a conversation that happens where they're like, "Ooh, well, who do you like more, me or Tom or John or whatever the hell his name is?" And she's like, "Oh, well, you're both cute. I guess you're gonna have to find out who I want to sleep with tonight." And I'm like, "You are okay."
First of all, this is how three-ways happen. Who's to say you can't enjoy both?
Well, and honestly, here's the thing: honestly, I thought that John and Tom or Rick and John or whatever, way more into each other than they were with that girl.
Yeah.
Because you have Rick, who literally, of course his name's Rick, right? He has this like mullet that's in a ponytail, like Johnny Depp like looking wannabe.
Yes.
And him and the blonde boy seem really close. Although we'll get to that at the end too, but whatever. And then this is when the old couple shows up, and this is Walter's parents. And you have the mother, who is like literally dressed in this like electric blue and pink like suit of some sort, jogging suit, I don't know. Yeah. And then the father, and right away, like the teenagers are like really rude to them, like really rude. And I did not think that the two parents were being rude at all. They just wanted to know where their son was. And
No, they're
like,
completely likable.
yeah,
at
and
first.
then they're like, you're fat and dump. The kids are like, get out of here, fat. You're fat and dumpy. Is he fat and dumpy like you? And the parents are like, oh, we've never. And they like walk off, and like the kids are just assholes.
Right. And if they would have maybe presented these characters for who they actually are throughout the rest of the time you see Chuck and Rita, it would maybe make more sense why they were so treated so poorly, because Rita ends up being very unlikable. These characters, this family in general, is everything I hate about upper class white people.
Yeah.
They are just entitled pieces of shit.
Yeah.
The two of them, I mean, the father, Chuck, is obviously kind of a pussy, and the wife walks all over him, but the wife and the kid are detestable.
Yes, and you learn that in the next scene, because the next scene is Walter getting on his ATV, which there was a clear rule stated at the beginning of the film to all the campers that ATVs, any motorized vehicles, were prohibited. Because remember, this is such a pristine, untouched part of the world, and ATVs will cause a imbalance in the
animals will not take well to it.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever. But no, I'm saying Gay Walter, but
he is Gay Walter. It's very obvious.
He is. Oh God, because this next scene when he gets sassy, this girl has some sass. I was like, girl, wow, you need to be on the next season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Where are you at? Because this is some sassy shit here. Yeah, Candy Muse, who this is. I want to see Walter. Because he's on his motorcycle, he's getting on his ATV, and David comes up and it's like telling him he can't ride his ATV. And the sass, this bitch, oh my God, he's like,
oh God,
what is
without hesitation?
He's like,
without hesitation, he doesn't respond to authority. He doesn't respect anyone.
He's like, I don't see a badge.
He has such like a lispy sound to his voice when he pats him back.
He does. It's so. He's like
limp-wristed and everything.
He does because David takes the keys from him and he's like, give him back.
he gets all flustered and uppity, like he is pissed. And then his mom shows up and she gets pissed, and she's the kind of mother that like her kid gets whatever he wants, and so she's all defensive of him even though he's clearly breaking laws.
Yeah, and the mother comes up and she's like, what's wrong, baby? And he's like, Smokey the Bear took my keys. And the mother is like demanding that he get the keys back, and luckily they don't give them back to her. They're like, no, you can get the keys when you check out. If you are caught riding the ATV, you are going to go to jail. And it's very blatant.
You're going to receive a hefty fine.
A hefty fine. Which, whatever, jail, hefty fine. The point is, don't ride the fucking ATV. But what does he do? Okay, we'll get there. And then you get a quick shot. I don't know how cute it is, but it's a quick shot of the killer, and we see him in his cave. Okay. And he is like, apparently, there's a fire going at all times, right?
It is an endless fire.
So again, I'm trying to wonder how nobody knows that this cave exists. Well, apparently they
smoke billows from it.
Yes. But he's like laying on the ground, like kissing passionately, like almost sexual. He's like kissing this mouse.
Oh, this killer is so pure of heart. First, he saves a rabbit from a trap, and he's not happy this trap has been set up in general. It's got like cans on it. So he frees the rabbit, and he lets the rabbit go to the wild. Then he enters his den where he finds this little mouse, and he's kissing this mouse and loving this mouse. And it makes me think, okay.
He's making out.
I love that he loves nature. But does he not? Is he a vegetarian caveman? Does he love all animals? Is he that pure of heart? Because like I would think that I thought he set up that trap and purposely caught that rabbit. I was expecting him to eat the rabbit.
Yeah, I was too, but no, he doesn't. I think
it's very confusing.
I think it's set up to make it feel like you're supposed to like have sympathy for him. I don't know.
I will say that he is like, out of all of the killers we've seen thus far in any film we've reviewed, this character absurdity aside, is one of the most like sympathetic characters in general, in the sense that like he really isn't doing anything wrong.
No.
He's just living in these mountains. These people all suck.
Yes, he's protecting his home. I mean, essentially, that's what it comes down to. He's protecting his home, and he's seeing that these people are very disrespectful to his living environment, and that's what he's reacting to. And it almost seems like with this, we'll get there, but it almost seems like a lot of times like he doesn't actually mean. I don't know if you caught this or not. I mean, there's a couple times where it's very blatant that he definitely means to kill the people. But a lot of the kills it seems like he doesn't necessarily mean to do it. I don't know. I just got that.
I think at first, once he gets riled up,
yes, then
then it's no holds bars.
Yeah, because okay, so after we get that, we cut back to Walter and this dopey music. It's just like this ridiculous like comedy dopey music that you would expect us to hear, like, you know, in a, I don't know, just it's like
a 1920 silent film.
Yes, yeah.
You know, like blah, blah, blah,
yeah, he's
horns and
yes, he's walking around, and every time he's walking, it's playing that, and he actually goes into the office, the ranger's office, and this little bastard proceeds to steal his ATV keys back.
He's such a fucker. Such a fucker.
Not only does he steal the ATV keys back, knowing he was just told that you would get a big fine, he also steals George's watch, which has sentimental value to him, as we've heard earlier in the film when he's talking about it's been in his family, blah, blah, blah. So you're like, this little bastard. And then it cuts to George visiting random people that are staying in a RV that's like, I guess, outside where everyone else is staying. But apparently it's like this military guy and his wife, who she's another sight to behold. Her name's Pepper.
Okay, no, let's clarify. It is a general he's a piece of work in his own regard. But his wife's name is Gloria, but she goes by Pepper. Because I'm believing her last name is Mintz. I think her name is Gloria Mintz. So she goes by Pepper because she at one point literally refers to herself as Peppermints. And let me tell you, if this movie gave me everything I wanted from it, Gloria would have ended up the final girl.
Gloria, she is so underused.
She's such a fucking doll. She's got a drawl. She's a delight, and you barely get any of.
She has the big bleach blonde hair.
She's just pleasant. She's pleasant. She's southern. She's busty. She's got too much makeup on, and she's everything I hope for. But yeah, sadly, you only get about 2 or 3 scenes with Peppermints.
That sounds like another drag queen.
Yeah, there's a lot of gaiety to this film, from the fat kid to Peppermints to the killer, who at this point we have seen him scaling and climbing rocks and doing a lot of things. And I don't know if you noticed this, but you come to realize like the fur ensemble that he's wearing, that this man has crafted for himself from the hides of animals. It is very high cut. Like, you get butt cheek. You get like, and let me tell you, if this killer would get some dental work and a barber, he would be fine. He's a good looker. The poor guy's teeth, I don't know what was wrong with this child when he went missing, that his teeth are so horribly misshapen and grotesque. But if it wasn't for those fucking teeth and the Alanis Morissette hair, he'd be doing just fine for himself. He'd be in a gay bar doing backflips. Yeah, because that's another thing, is he's a gymnast.
Oh yeah. But anyways, I don't know what this scene has to do with anything. It's just like the George is coming there to talk to him about, oh, I saw your trash can was spilled outside. Do you know who did it or what happened? And they're like, no. And okay, can I have some Jack Daniels? But it really doesn't. This scene didn't go anywhere. Like, this could have been cut out. But God bless their hearts for not cutting it out, because we did get Peppermints out of this.
Yeah. It literally is just there to introduce more characters in what is already too large of a cast of characters to begin with.
Yeah. And then we get Walter riding his ATV. So Walter has defied everybody, and he is literally on this ATV, just riding high speed through the park, almost running into cars, like not running into bushes. Like he is like the worst ATV rider I've ever seen. He like literally rides right through bushes, like doesn't try to avoid them. But in the meantime, he actually rides past the killer's cave, and obviously the killer is none too happy, the caveman killer, and comes out. And there is a scene where like Walter is riding on his ATV while the killer is behind him, chasing him with this large stick. And it just goes back and forth. It's cutting back and forth between Walter on the ATV and then the killer running, chasing him with a stick. Somehow, the killer gets ahead of him, right? And is able to pull up this, what is it? It's like a vine, like a rope vine?
He uses the same trap that the rabbit was caught in.
Okay.
With the cans on it. We don't know what that trap is really doing there, or who put it there, or if he put it there, but it's there for this and this only. And yeah, he uses it as like a tripwire.
Yes. So Walter flies off the ATV.
In a glorious shot in which you see Walter go like legs up backwards off the ATV, and he like a spread eagle collapses backwards, and it's glorious.
It is. I thought the same. I'm like, wow, I wonder. Yeah, he lands with a plump on the ground. The ATV like tips over, flips over, and the caveman, or he's not a caveman, the killer, I'm just going to call him the killer, proceeds to start beating the shit out of the ATV with a stick. So
because he doesn't like any. The killer seems to be very put off by loud noises, barking, cars, vehicles. He gets very agitated very easily.
Yeah. So he's beating the ATV with the stick. Walter gets up, and the killer like turns around and like sees him and like charges at him, and Walter cuts the killer's face with a knife, which you never really see the wound again after this scene, but he slices his cheek open with the knife, and then the killer proceeds to jump on Walter and like break his neck.
Yes. Well, I mean, first of all, you do see the cut on the killer's face does stay on his face.
I guess I just thought so. I just never really paid attention to it because there's a lot of times you don't see the killer close up. There's only a few scenes where they actually show like a close up of his face. Most of the time, it's like you're either seeing like him off in the distance, or like when he's attacking people, it's usually you're looking at the back of him.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I didn't because when he cuts his face, like it's a big old wound and there's like blood all over it, and then it's like, oh, it's gone. Anyway, so Walter is dead. Thank God. Thank
fucking God. I was so happy he was the first to go. I was crossing my fingers. And this is an example of what I think when you mentioned that the killer like unintentionally kills people. I think in this case, like I almost feel like he was like approaching Walter more with like curiosity than anything, and then Walter like slashes the blade at him, which is the knife that he stole earlier. So he slashes that knife, and the killer doesn't kill the caveman. Doesn't kill him until he's agitated, until he's attacked, and then he breaks the child's neck. Thank God, because he is no longer part of the film, and there's a relief to all viewers everywhere.
Yes, God. Thank God. But yeah, so Walter is dead. Then we get a scene of the campers that are at the Memorial Valley campground. They are at the party, which to me doesn't look like much of a party, but whatever. And it's it's storming out, so they're all like shoved under this tent, and like the caretaker guy is telling a story, and it's an urban legend, the one we've all heard about, the people parked at Lover's Lane. And then you just get some dialogue about where we find out that the valley has been isolated for so long. There's nobody. It's like untouched earth. Nobody's been in this area for years. And yeah, I don't know.
I will say I appreciate like the angle they're coming from. I actually feel it's kind of modern, and it's not like any other film I can really think of. There's a few elements of this movie that surprised me, but they're buried under like layers of like what the fuck. But like I do like the whole thing, the whole concept of like this killer, this character is a villain because he is sick of humans basically like intruding on this like natural preserved territory, though it may not actually be though the location they use may not be effective in concept. It's a cool concept. I like what they're doing with this because they are giving you a villain that like you can sympathize with, and also it kind of hits home, especially I think now if they were to remake this movie and use the right elements of it today, they could make something super relevant. They could make a film that I think could actually touch on things that are more meaningful now than they even were in the 1980s. But because this movie is so schlocky and absurd, and the killer looks like something that you would get a Halloween costume, like a cheap Halloween costume made out of felt, you kind of lose that message because of the absurdity of all of it. But yeah, I appreciate the whole message that's like buried under there. And they're trying to kind of like give you that whole idea of within this party until in the midst of this sequence, this rain sequence, it becomes like a rain dance where Wendy or Whitney or whatever her name is, I think it's Wendy, busts out of fucking nowhere and starts like writhing in the rain, and she's like, "Woo, it's cold, but it's nice."
And her nipples are like rock hard. For
three consecutive scenes after this as well. Yes. They're just busting out. I think someone had to be icing her nipples.
They had to,
because they're just popping out.
They are. But yeah, but to back what you said, yeah, you're right. There is an interesting theme in this movie that deals with the idea of greed, expansion, capitalism. However, I don't know how intentional that was. I don't know if they really were going that route with that in mind, or they were just like, oh, we need to make a Memorial Day themed slasher movie, so hey, let's do this. Because there's other films, like there's the film from the 80s, the Eric's Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, where it's very similar. You have the killer killing because of capitalism and greed, because the company tore down his house, burned out his house, and built a mall, and so he's killing to get revenge. It's very similar. So that is an interesting concept. So you do have someone killing because of greed, because of, coming in and just what humans naturally do is come in and just destroy, natural environments to make condos and, stores and campgrounds, like what the developer wanted to do. So it is interesting. I just don't know how intentional it was. I don't think it was very intentional because it really never goes anywhere.
Was intentional. They lost it.
Yeah.
In the stickiness of everything. And one other thing I do want to mention at this point in the review, because like we are like, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes into the movie at this point, 30 minutes into the film. There's a character named Cheryl who has been introduced at this point, but she's so forgettable and so underutilized that it's easy to forget that she is part of the film. But she's also, I guess, kind of like the female lead, the opposite David. Like I've never seen a movie that has a female, like a major female character who does so little over the course of the...
Yeah, you forget about her. I didn't even know her name, honestly. I'm glad you brought it up. She is, because she is really set at one point to like be the final girl, and then it just drops that real quick, and she becomes just background fodder.
Yeah, you lose her in the sea of faces because there's just so many characters.
Yeah, and this is also the scene. Okay, so this is also the scene where we find out that George, because George is out in the rain tracking, and this is when George basically, we find out from the caretaker guy, he's telling David that George had a child, and his child was kidnapped, and the kidnapper basically demanded ransom, and the ransom pickup was supposed to be this location. Coincidentally, how coincidental, right? And something happened where the police messed it up, and the kid was basically never returned or never found again. So the assumption was that the kidnappers killed him and buried him somewhere out in the desert. Now, right away, we are making the inference. I think we're smart enough to make the inference. Okay, so this killer is George's kid, right?
Yeah. The kid's Steven, and it's George. First of all, George knows the caretaker Deke because Deke mentions that they were in the war together, so they have like a relationship. And that's another thing this movie does, is it actually gives characters like backstories, relationships. Like several of the key characters, they actually like take time to get into their backstories. Like even David, like his relationship with his father and why he's at the campground and his knowledge of the location. Like there are some things it doesn't do wrong. And the character of George is one of the characters who has like a lot of motivation for why he's in this film and what his purpose is. You know, I wish that all the characters had that. But George is one of the characters that you do get a lot of like the intention of why he exists and what his driving forces throughout the storyline, you know. And this whole sequence, they do a good job of setting up why he's there, why he operates the way he does, why he's gruff, why he's kind of untrusting of people, and why he's a good tracker.
Yeah, and I just want to say I was trying my hardest to hear what the whole story was that Deke was telling. And I have to say that in the background in the scene, it's raining, and the rain sound drowns out the dialogue. So I had a really hard time like understanding everything. So I got the basics. So once the girl with the hard nipples, the two boys take her away
with obvious intentions, of course.
But then she does not let them in the tent.
No. And she's mad at them for some reason.
She's mad at them for pulling her away and making her quit doing a striptease in front of all these older adults.
Her very ineffective dance number.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so these boys, it's like pouring rain, and these boys are outside saying, "Let me in, let me in." I'm thinking, really, it's a tent. It's not that hard to get into.
Right?
You can't lock a tent door. Just
unzip like she's bolted.
No, it's like unzip it and go in. Good God.
Cut a hole in it, like.
But they are literally out there in the pouring rain, just like, let me in, let me in. And she's like, no. And they're like, okay. So there's
and this girl can't act her way out of a paper bag or a tent. So this, like, everything that she does is very ineffective to begin with, including her dance number. But she refuses. She's adamant about letting them in, but she finally gives in and lets them in. And the first thing she says is, "You guys are wet." It's like a deluge outside. It is a downpour.
Yeah.
She was dancing in it.
Yes, that's ridiculous. And at the same time, now David goes back to the tent with, what's her name? Cheryl? Is that what you said?
Cheryl. Yes.
I'm gonna trust you. I never. And they are like, this tent looks huge, by the way.
It is. It's like a house.
It is. From the outside, it's like a normal sized tent, and then
it's kind of like a living room.
Then you get inside, it's like, yeah, it's the size of my apartment. There's like a bar, a mini bar. I'm like, okay,
a chandelier.
But this is because she's a bitch to him at the beginning when they first meet.
Yeah.
Now she's into this because he's a good looking guy, actually.
Yeah.
And so
and they really push the idea that she's like, I think, like, you get very little with this character, Cheryl, but the few lines of dialogue that she has are very much like making it clear, like, I'm here because I like the wilderness and I'm trying to escape guys like you. And you don't get me because I'm a smart girl. But she also looks like a fucking like pinup model. Like, they did a really bad job of casting a believable actress in this role.
Yeah. They do shots and they're cold. Apparently the remedy of being cold, if you're cold in a tent, is to get undressed
and roll up in towels
and wrap a towel around you. Literally, he's shirtless and he has a towel around him, and she, there's this kind of, it's supposed to be, I guess, erotically shot of them undressing.
Yes.
And it's not. But he's in a towel, she's in a towel, and they're sitting next to each other, and she's like, "Oh, are you warmer now?" He's like, "Yeah, much warmer." But he's in a towel without a shirt on. I don't know. But all this leads to where we think it's going to lead, because they fuck, right?
Oh, absolutely. And like, not only that, but it's like, it's very obvious they're gonna fuck, but they make it sound like they're like doing it to like
to survive.
Just about like body heat. Well,
yes,
we have to use our body heat to keep ourselves warm in the middle of this cold rainstorm. And then like they have a very intimate make out and sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect it.
Yeah, and the killer is watching them.
Yeah, oh, he's into it. This movie's very vanilla, by the way. Like, let's just be clear. Like, this feels like this film, for the most part, aside from a few kill shots, it has to be like a PG-13. But then every once in a while, you'll have something that's like, oh, didn't anticipate that. And this sex scene falls under that. Like, it is steamy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It is, and you get a lot of grinding, and you get a pretty good silhouette through the 10 of them, just him pounding away while the killer's watching. Yeah, and so they good for them. Okay, he got that puss. That's what he was after the first time he saw her. And then so then this cuts back to the girl. What did you, Wendy and the two boys
and her ever hard nipples, because they're harder than ever.
Yeah, and now she wants to like fuck them both. She's like, oh, let's go, let's do this.
And they're cute. I get it.
Yeah, but then they hear something outside, and they look, and it's a fucking bear. It's a real bear. So this movie had a real bear. I wonder. They're like, what is it? And they like look at this fucking like a full-on black bear enters the tent, and their reaction is like, wow, like exactly how I would have responded. Like it is a big ass bear. I have no idea how the people making this movie procured a bear. I think they may have just lured one from the woods, because I highly doubt they could have afforded, a trainer or a person who wrangles bears. So I think they had to just plant a camera and maybe, I don't know, put some peanut butter on something and just wait. Wait to see what happens, because it comes out of fucking nowhere. Yeah, and it's a real bear. It's not, and it's but it leaves the tent. They go look at it. It's like wandering around, and they're like, ooh, they peek out, and lo and behold, Walter's dead body's there.
Mangled.
So obviously they are going to blame the bear. They say that Walter was killed by a bear. George does not want to call the police or tell anybody about it. In fact, he like rips the phone from the wall so that nobody can call the police.
But the very next scene is the police arriving.
Yeah, so the police
ripping the phone from the wall.
Yeah, the ambulance
served no purpose.
Yeah, it was dumb, because the ambulance is there, and then there's this like the police officer has to give some stupid some explanation about, oh, the rain's really coming down. Your guys aren't going to be able to leave. You're going to be trapped.
Yeah. If anyone's getting in here next time, it's going to be the fucking Navy or something.
Yeah.
So he cracks like a joke about it.
Yeah. So then basically they think that the bear was the one that killed Walter, and we don't have to deal with Walter anymore, and we don't have to deal with his parents anymore, because they go. Thank God. George. The end. Right. Basically, this is when you get down to like who decides they're all staying. So this is your core group of characters. So you get the bikers stay.
Yep.
Tom, Ricky, and the girl stay. And of course, David and Cheryl stay. So you're down to your group of people. George is there. What'd you say his name was? Deek.
Let's be clear though that there are still between, I would say safely say, 15 and 20 people still there.
It's ridiculous. Some of them I don't even. Okay, within
the biker group alone, there's 6 people, and I don't know who any of them are.
No, well, like I said, we're gonna get there. So whoever decides to stay now, they're gonna go hunt the bear. So everyone basically gets a gun. They give it to the kids.
One kid says that they're giving out guns and ammo like candy, which I think is a horrible idea. But okay,
it is. They're bear hunting, so they're like wandering through the woods with guns, like looking for this bear that supposedly killed Walter. Although, I mean, if you think about it, how do you know if you see a bear? How do you know that's the specific one that killed him? I don't know. The biker and Mom Jeans and the other one are lost. They get separated from the
Leon. Hold on, I know the other one.
But you said they were the same person.
Leon and Eddie. Well, no, the characters' names are Leon and Eddie, but
on IMDb, both
Pictures.
characters' descriptions have the same character photo. So I don't know which is which. I think Eddie is the leaner of the two, and I think Leon is the one with like the mutton chops.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, they're wandering around. They're lost. They're like, we're going back. I don't want to screw this. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And then you get a shot of the two boys, John and whatever, Tom and Ricky, are like literally like running full speed with the guns, pointing them at people, acting like they're at war. They're like even doing the gun machine gun sounds. I'm like, okay, really, get the guns out of those kids' hands. They're gonna kill somebody. But they don't. But while this is happening, actually, Ricky does get caught in that rope trap. And he's like hung upside down for a bit, and that just really goes nowhere. Like it could have been something that was like suspenseful, like Friday the 13th Part 2 when they did the rope trap, scene. This is just he gets stuck. They come and laugh and cut him down, and that's
everything that could be kind of like suspenseful or like a moment is more played off as a joke. Progressively throughout the film, there's all these moments that could be something, I don't want to say scary because I don't know if this movie could possibly have something scary to it, but somewhat suspenseful. But instead, everything is played off with an element of humor, and it loses so much of the potential impact. And this is like a perfect example, this whole rope trick. Because basically like you hear the sound of it happen, and then it cuts to like all the characters walking over, and he's just like dangling, and they're like, "Oh, let's cut you down." But let's also acknowledge like we're like 50 minutes in right now, and the only character that has died up to this point was the fat lesbian. Like we've like literally there's one death 50 minutes in. The movie is an hour and a half long.
Yeah, and in this point is kind of when I was like losing a little bit of interest. And not that it drags, but it does. It's just a lot of just characters walking around.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
That's what my notes even says. It just says lots of walking around. Okay, until you get to the scene where the two bikers, actually find the killer's cave. So it's not that hard to find. Okay, they actually find it. They go in. Well, the one biker finds the bloody knife, and then they find the cave. They go in. The fire still blazing. Fire still ablazing. And they're like, "Oh, well, somebody must live here." And they start exploring. And the one is like, "Hey, we should get out of here." And Mullet says, "No, maybe he has a map." Stupid line. Like, why would this guy who's in a cave have a map?
Right. Well, it's also, don't they find the remnants of a body?
They do, and they are not terribly concerned about it at all. In fact,
they find it like interesting.
They take the skull. Mullet takes the skull.
Yeah, and let's also acknowledge, if we're putting the pieces of this together for the listeners who may or may not be a bit confused, because I was, and I'm kind of putting pieces together now as we're really talking through it. The body that they find, from what I'm assuming, is the guy who had taken Stephen hostage to begin with.
Yeah, that's what
I'm assuming is that Stephen killed this guy and couldn't get out of this very apparently rural area, or not even rural, just there. I mean, he's in the middle of fucking nowhere in cave systems. So he ended up just living in the mountains. So this is what happened: is the kid was able to kill off the guy who had kidnapped him, but he was trapped in the mountains. So thus he ended up living there.
Yeah.
That's the body.
That's kind of what I thought. Or he just died, and he's
he just had a heart attack while waiting.
Yeah, I don't know. But okay, so actually the mullet mom jean biker, the mullet guy in mom jeans, he actually takes the skull and like is like playing with it. He's like, I'm gonna. And
the skull is blatantly a fake skull.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this outside. And then you get a clip. You get like the other biker finds a newspaper article about the kidnapped kid. And then this is when the killer just out of nowhere, this is pretty quick, like drops down into the cave and like axes the biker in the chest.
Yes.
Literally, it's so quick.
Yes.
So I did kind of like that.
The killer moves very nimbly, by the way. Like, he really is a gymnast. I mean, when I looked up the actor on IMDb to get a little idea of why he moves so nimbly, he even was like a stunt. He did stunts in like the Mortal Kombat movies. He's like someone who's like, most of his work is as a stunt performer. He was in God, using like one of those 70s movies, like Breaking It or something like that. You know, he's like a dancer and stunt mover, which explains why he moves so fluidly.
Yeah.
Because the killer's like backflipping and he's like jumping down and very elegantly spinning. Like,
yeah.
I've never seen a killer move like this before.
Yeah. So, biker dude is dead with an axe in his chest, and this is like it's a kind of a. I wanted to know where he got this axe because it's like a shiny brand new axe, and it's not like an axe that you think of chopping wood with.
Right.
It's like a fireman's axe. So I
have no idea.
They must just have him laying around out in the middle. I don't know.
In the middle of these mountain systems.
Yeah. So, and then the other biker, Mom Jeans is what I'm going to call him, is running away. And like, for as big as this guy is, like as burly, he is the biggest fucking pussy I've ever. I mean, he is just like running and, oh, don't hurt me. Dude, you're a fucking biker. Like, have you not
being intimidating?
Have you not seen like Sons of Anarchy? You're supposed to be like, he's like running, flailing, and like, don't hurt me. Do you want your skull back?
Yeah, he doesn't try to defend himself whatsoever.
No, and then he trips and falls, and like throws the skull at the killer, and then like the killer just happens to have a random like pit with spikes out in the middle of nowhere that he's able to push the Mom Jeans in, and Mom Jeans falls on these spikes and is impaled, and that's the end of him.
Yeah. It's like out of nowhere. He just looks back, and all of a sudden, he just sees that he's standing on the precipice of like this massive trap, and he just falls back, and he's impaled.
And did you note it? Like when he falls back, this happened with the other kid too that dies here in a few minutes. But like when these characters fall into this pit, it's like this elaborate shot of like them falling, and it looks like they're falling like 50 feet. And then you see the pit and it's like 4 feet.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, so the group that's out there looking, they actually come across the cave. See, it's not that fucking hard to find.
Right.
Okay. So they find the cave and they find the dead body of the biker, and they're like, oh my God, it's been a man all along, because it's not a bear. It wasn't the bear, they realize. And David attacks George for basically saying that he knows that George knows that it was a man that was killing people. And he's like, and George is like, well, it's my son. It may be my son. That's why we can't hurt him.
Which I find an unacceptable answer, because at this point, several people are dead because of this mountain child.
Yes. And at this point, like, they're trying to get the body of the biker out. They make this stretcher. They happen to just find all the materials to make a stretcher. This is a very resourceful woods. They have axes. They have stretcher materials. They have barrels of snakes.
These people come prepared.
Yes. Ricky, right? Ricky, the Johnny Depp lookalike.
Yeah.
He's running back to camp to tell everybody. His mission is to tell everyone, hey, there's actually a killer loose.
Yeah.
But as he is running, he happens to run into the pit, and he looks down and he sees the body of Mom Jeans down there. Yes. And he turns around to run, and the killer is right there, stabs him in the stomach with the wooden spear, and he flies backwards 50 feet into the 4-foot pit.
And he also is impaled.
He's impaled on top of Mom Jeans.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, so I guess.
And let's also acknowledge that Ricky is also the character who had been caught in the rope trap and like was upside down and made a cut loose and like sprained his ankle. He was like limping. Mm-hmm. And so then when they're like, okay, who's fast?
Yeah.
Literally, this is the moment. George goes, are you fast? And Ricky goes, you mean like running?
Yeah.
And George is like, yes, go, run back and tell everybody. They pick the kid with the sprained ankle. So he is miraculously healed and gallivanting, rushing through the woods, only to be the next one dispatched and killed.
Yeah. So the group is carrying the body back to the camp. And at this time, the killer at the same time has gotten into the office, the ranger office, and it basically destroys it. He destroys the radio. He smashes the radio. He smashes the windows. He does everything. And then he has actually the smarts to go do the same to the Jeep. He like opens the hood of this Jeep and like is ripping wires out and like rips the radio out of the Jeep.
For being a mountain child who was like left in the mountains to fend for himself and has mangled teeth and can't speak. He can't seem to actually communicate like with language. He sure knows how to destroy a vehicle because he destroys all of the vehicles.
Yeah,
and there are multiple vehicles. Like everyone has come up to this campsite with a truck.
Oh yeah, he's like I said. I want to know where he learned some of this stuff. Like how does he even know what a radio is, or that a Jeep would have a radio?
And there's like a radio system in the one Jeep. Yeah, like you're saying, and he cut the cord to it. Like, how does he even know to do that?
That's what I was wondering. And then as they're carrying the bodies back, the group finds the bodies in the pit, and they have such non-reactions. It's just hilarious. Like the girl, Cheryl, her reaction is, "Oh God, this is terrible." I mean, literally, that's how she's
lackluster.
That's how she says it. She's like, "Oh God." I'm like, you.
Yeah.
And then they get back to the group and tell everyone that the two bikers are dead, and you get a bunch of like fake crying, like zoomed in on like the fake crying of like the biker chicks, like the African American biker chick. You get a zoom in of her, and she's trying to fake cry, and
she's like covering her face and like literally turning away from the camera because she's so uncomfortable crying. And like all the girlfriends are like, losing their shit over it, as you do.
Yeah. And at this point, Tom, the blonde Tom, the part of the teenage trio, he runs into raspy voice. That's what I'm going to call him. The what's his name? Colonel Mintz or what?
Is it Colonel or General?
General.
He's somewhere up within the hierarchy of the military.
So Peppermint and General Mintz are.
Colonel Mintz. He sounds like someone from a Candyland set.
Yeah, right. Tom sees the killer actually messing with like their camper. He's like he opened like the electrical box of their camper and it's like doing something. And the killer sees him, and like this is when the killer's like just to me like lost his shit and just like I'm just gonna kill everybody, because there was really no reason to kill poor Tom. But he does. He stabs him in the neck with a knife, and that's the end of Tom. Cute little Tom.
Very elegantly, by the way. He like spins around him and stabs him.
Yes. Yeah. And so then you get inside the camper. Pepper and General are, getting ready to have their dinner. And okay, so basically what happens is she lights a match to light the stove for dinner. And she's like, "Do you smell gas?" And then all of a sudden the whole camper blows up.
Yeah, but again, in one of those moments where like this could be a, treated like a horror movie, you could be killing characters. The general is like also going to light a cigarette, and he like lights a cigarette and he has the match in front of the cigarette, and Peppermints goes, "Do y'all smell gas?" And he cut to a shot of the general who like looks at the match and like very comedically his eyebrows go up and he's like his eyes grow big. He's like, "Oh," and then all of a sudden
it blows up.
You just see an explosion. Like they don't treat anything seriously, so it's hard to like look at this movie as like a horror movie. You can't like dissect this as something that's meant to be scary, because every time something could be scary, there's something like slapsticky to go along with it.
Yeah. But he did request his steak well done, so he kind of deserved to be blown up, I think.
Absolutely.
And then we get Emily. Apparently, that's one of the girls' names. She's wandered off into the woods because everyone's like, "Where's Emily?" And then there's just shots of like this girl that I guess
I'm assuming she went to go find her boyfriend, who was the lead biker.
She was just told that he was killed, so I don't know.
Yeah, but she's running. I mean, to me, it seems like she's running with like very like limp arms. So I'm thinking that she's just kind of like, "Oh no, I've lost my mind." It has no explanation. It really has no reasoning behind it.
Yeah, and this is the scene where it's kind of fun. It's kind of interestingly done. It's where you cut back to the teen girl with the hard nipples, and she's in the tent, and like you get this scene of like this hand like tearing the tent and coming through, and she has a gun, of course, because they gave everyone a gun. And before even knowing what it is or who it is, she shoots And it's Tom.
Yeah. Who I don't know how he managed to get away from the explosion of the RV back to the tent with a knife sticking out of it's like in his upper chest. It's like where I would assume his heart would be. But somehow he managed to get back to the tent.
Yeah, so he's dead. And then now the killer emerges behind her. And this is kind of an awkward scene because the killer's literally feeling her up, rubbing his hands all over her body and her tits, and she's like, "Oh, you like that? Just be gentle. Just be gentle."
Yeah, she's allowing it. She's basically oh, maybe if I let him rape me, he won't kill me. That's the reasoning we have here. Very weird.
But he does kill her. He grabs her in a bear hug and squeezes her and breaks her back.
I don't know how.
Yeah, throws her on the ground and he broke her back and she's dead. It's very odd, very odd. So now she's dead. So George and David find her body, and then you get cut to Emily still wandering around in the woods for some reason, just running half-heartedly through the woods. It's night. They are talking about they got to stick together. George gets drunk, but he recovers quite quickly from being drunk.
Yes,
because he's so drunk he passes out. Okay, so now we cut back to Emily, and she has somehow circled back around.
All she did was run away and come back.
Yes.
It's not she didn't discover anything. She didn't stumble upon anything. Did she? There was no purpose to her leaving.
No, she didn't. There was no purpose, but she actually is in view of the cabin or the campsite with all the people there, and literally the killer, his hand comes down from a tree and he lifts her up just by her hair. He pulls this woman into a tree by her hair.
It's so you see the hand come down and she goes all the way out.
Yes.
She just gets pulled all the way into the foliage of the tree. And I'm first of all, how does this man have that kind of strength, to crack the back of a woman to the point of killing her, but also now to lift a woman by her skull into she's lifted all the way out of
all the way up,
feet.
Yeah. He did it with one hand. This is 100 and some pound woman, and he was able to.
It's kind of cool,
but I want to know where.
Cool, but it's implausible.
But okay, so he gets her in a tree. Where is he putting her?
I don't fucking know. Is that the last of our worries with this movie? At this point in the game, and people listen. This point in the movie, this is an hour and a half long movie. We're now at about an hour and 20 minutes into it. People are dropping like flies. These deaths are not happening with 10-minute increments between them. It's literally every 2 minutes someone gets dispatched, and they get dispatched quickly.
Well, because
this woman just gets sucked up into the trees, and it's on to the next scene.
It's on to the next scene, which is the Deke, the caretaker. You said his name's Deke, right? He is now. He goes to get gas for the generator, and
because he is reasonable.
Yes, but as he's getting gas, Emily's body drops down from the tree behind him, and he of course reacts, and he drops the gas can, and it spills gas all under his feet, and the killer comes out with a torch. I mean, I don't. I love this scene. How did he know? Whatever. He has a torch now, and he basically sets this poor old man on fire.
Which I have to acknowledge. It took literally an hour and 20 minutes before they managed to kill off a character of color. And I salute them for that, because plenty of people have died by this point. And rare. This is a rare scenario. So good on this movie for breaking a stereotype. But when they do finally kill a black character, it is in the most violent way possible, because literally it cuts to the group sitting there, and they look over, and Deke comes running around the corner on fire, blazing. He is like a human torch, and they all just watch as he runs from one side of you see him run past the crowd, and he runs out of sight, and they just don't do anything about it.
They never. I have that. They never even they don't get up. They're not even bothered to get up.
They watch him run away.
They're just sitting there,
turn away, and I don't even address it.
I think the one girl, she's like, "Oh, that's terrible."
But they don't try to put the fire out. You don't even, and the thing is, you don't even see Deke like fall to the ground and die, do you? You just see him like run down the curve of the hill, and like who knows? For all they know, he could still be running to this day. Like poor man is fully ablaze. At least try to like douse the fire with something, or put a blanket over him and beat him, put him out. But they literally just watch him, and then they just turn and they go about their business.
I do think she's like, that's terrible. And then all of a sudden, not only does this killer also knows how to drive a bulldozer. Okay.
Where did this bulldozer come from?
I don't know.
Was it there before?
No, it was not. But he's driving he drives a bulldozer. As poor Zeke is seen in the background, running on fire down the street. A bulldozer is coming down, and he literally crashes the bulldozer into the cabin. And George
screams at the top of his lungs, "No!"
And this is when everyone is like, George is miraculously not drunk anymore.
Right.
Okay, so this is confusing. So after the killer drives the bulldozer through the cabin, through the office cabin, he takes it and proceeds to like run it into a truck.
Well, here's what I take away from this. I think he actually is he in the bulldozer? I don't think I think basically first of all, the bulldozer I think is there because remember there's a construction crew there the day before where they had said that they're going to come back and get their equipment the next day.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember that in the beginning. So that's why the bulldozer's there. So that makes sense. So we have addressed the mystery bulldozer. I think the bulldozer, I think that he turned it on and it's just going because the bulldozer just destroys the house and just keeps, or the cabin or whatever it is. It goes through the building and then it just keeps going nonstop. And so the characters who are in the way of it, they're hiding behind a truck. 3 characters, the African-American couple and a random woman, part of the motorcycle group, the rest of the motorcyclists. This is just the rest of the motorcyclists in general. They're hiding behind this truck, and the bulldozer is just not stopping. The bulldozer is just plowing forward. And so they run down the slope of the hill, and they look up, and the bulldozer just bulldozes the truck down the hill, and it crushes all of them.
All three of them.
All 3 are killed.
And you get a shot of their bodies laying under the truck.
So we've gone from 12 people to 3 in a matter of I'd say 7 minutes.
Yes,
maximum.
Quickly. That was a real creative way to dispatch a bunch of people at once. So they probably knew, okay, we're getting down. We have to get rid of these people. So let's just
I think they were running down on days on set, and so they're just we're just gonna kill everybody.
Yeah. So George demands that David and Cheryl leave. They don't want to leave at first, but he's like, no, I got to take care of this. So they actually do leave. And he, the killer is luring him into the woods, trying to get him to follow him. And George does. It's morning now, so it's not light out. But the path that this killer is luring George is set with booby traps. There's falling rocks and falling trees and just all these booby traps that this killer set. But as he corners the killer in this gully area, it seems like he recognizes that it's his dad, right? Did you get that?
I did. Well, I did. I think that he gets kind of trapped in the Stephen, which we end up realizing it's his son Stephen, but Stephen ends up being trapped in kind of a ravine area. And I thought to myself, okay, listen, you've been living in these mountains for apparently years. Mm-hmm. How do you get trapped within this area whereas this man who's following you has no real idea of this terrain, I'm assuming, but whatever. But yeah, so he turns and looks at him, and there's finally a moment where it clicks that it's his father because he takes out the watch.
Mm-hmm.
The watch that he grabbed earlier in the film when he killed the fat lesbian child because he had stolen it from the desk.
Yes.
So that watch I think connects that's his father's, correct?
Yes, yes. And so there's this like moment of like recognition, and you think, okay, this is sweet. They're going to reunite. But nope. A log, a log with spikes in it flies out of nowhere and kills George. Pales him right there.
First of all, this log is so big. This log is so big. I have no idea how George managed to not see it. Even if it was maybe like suspended above as a booby trap, there's no possible way that this could have gone without seeing it. It has spikes in it. It's genuinely like a mass. It's a tree. It's like a full tree that's suspended. And when he hits this rope, the log swings down and the spikes impale him through the gut, and George is killed. And Steven seems genuinely distraught over it.
He does for a bit. Yeah, he does for a bit.
Yeah, because he finally realized that this is his father.
Yeah. And then you get David returning to ID George's body, and David is like, okay, yeah, fuck this. The park's closed. We lost. The park's closed, everyone. Go home. And you get an image of the killer up on this silhouette of the killer up on this hill watching as the credits begin to roll.
Like, that is the end of the movie.
That is the end
of the movie. That literally, like, they're, you know, up to this whole point, David's really seems like he's been like kind of like the male lead. And like we had said, I can't even remember her name, Cheryl. I really thought she was going to be, you know, his counterpart, the female lead. And when it comes to like the climax of the film, they are completely irrelevant. Mm-hmm. These characters are just pushed aside. George has his character's closure, but those two characters serve zero purpose to the ending of the film, and they have no moments with the killer. There is no reason to really want them to survive. Cheryl is a paper thin character who really serves zero purpose to the film, and has no moment of anything redeeming.
She has nothing to do in this. Like there is not one moment in this film that is like her moment. It's all her scenes are with another person, and she's often just very much in the background. So she's
like talking wallpaper. She's honestly like talking wallpaper. She'll have occasional lines, reactions. I feel like they just threw her reactions to give her purpose, but she never does anything. She's never resourceful. She never defends herself. She never has to. She never has to, you know, make a quick decision. She just serves zero purpose. It's so unsatisfying. The characters that survive this movie, it's so like
because David is an interesting character, and there's like the interesting dynamic between him and his father, who is like this like tyrannical like capitalist that wants to take over, you know, this pristine park. That's never brought up again. Like it's dropped. It's just it's a plot point that's just you never see the dad again. Nothing ever comes of it. There's no, you know, I was half expecting maybe the dad to show up at the end and there'd be some sort of like confrontation where the dad is like, well, we're still keeping this place open, and there'd be but no, nothing. It just, there's these two characters, you follow them through the film, and they end up being pointless, really. I mean, think about it. This would have been virtually the same film without the David or Cheryl character.
Absolutely. Really because George's character is the one that really serves as the through story. If anything, like, David is kind of like the eyes of the viewer almost. Like, he comes in, you follow him into the storyline, and he obviously he's the protagonist because his thoughts and his beliefs and his reason for being there are good versus his father's, which are bad. Like, it's the most basic concepts. But at the end of the day, he really serves no purpose to the build-up or finale or what happens, other than saying that the park is closed. That's the one thing he has, is he says that on behalf of the company, you know, because his father owns the company, this park is closed, they're shutting it down.
Yeah.
And that's the only real bit of closure you have for that character. But yeah, Cheryl is just the least effective character I can really think of in a slasher movie that I have seen to date. It's such a bummer, because you always look for a strong final girl, or at least a strong female character, and this movie does not deliver that whatsoever.
No, not at all.
No.
It was a pointless character.
Absolutely.
But that is, I mean, it's Memorial Valley Massacre. It is it's definitely a different, I don't even want to say different. It's It's a film.
It exists.
It's a slasher film.
It's a slasher film.
You can, I feel like I was trying to like compare it to like, you know, a lot of the 80s golden age of slashers, and it's definitely not on level with them, and it's not memorable. I don't think there's much memorable about it at all. I think it's pretty damn forgettable. It's pretty silly. The killer's get up is silly. It doesn't make a lick of sense.
They obviously, there's a few things to take away from this in general with the killer and overall. First of all, one thing I want to say, that whole final sequence with George, like the final big moment, is literally everything happens in the last 5 minutes of the movie. It is so little time spent with that final climax. It's so unsatisfying. But with the killer and the execution, with how they present him, it really shows like a lack of understanding and knowledge in how to present us a scary movie. Between how you light it, how you present it, how you build suspense, there's no understanding of any of that. The first time you see the killer, you see him clear as day, bright lighting, and you never are given any elements of mystery or suspense behind who it is. And maybe they're trying to do something unique and creative with it, but it in turn just makes this movie not scary. And when you have a slasher film or a horror movie that's not scary, what do you have?
Yes, there are literally zero suspenseful scenes in this film. The score is the most out of place score I've ever heard in any film, period. It just does not match the film at all. And yeah, I mean, there's too many characters. You don't really care about any of the characters, honestly. In fact, you dislike a lot of them. And you could have literally cut the cast in half and just developed, characterization for a smaller amount of characters than trying to just jam a bunch of characters into a film just for fodder and body count, which in fact, this film doesn't even have that high of a body count considering how many characters are in it. I think it's generally just, it's, I don't want to say it's a, I would say, obviously we told people to watch it at the beginning of this podcast, but I think it's a film that you don't revisit because you necessarily enjoy it. I think you might revisit it for its like the
mockability.
Yes, that's what I was saying. The absurdity of it to put it on with a bunch of friends and be like, hey, let's watch this while we drink some shots of tequila because it's ridiculous. Because it really is ridiculous.
Yeah, this movie, it would make like an amazing mystery science theater kind of situation where you hear people like tear it apart, or something where you sit down with your friends and you drink and you just mock it from beginning to end, because it really is. It doesn't have any real redeeming elements. Like there's not a single death that stands out as being really well executed. Like they're all things we've seen before and we've seen them done better. There's no characters that I think are like entirely memorable for any positive reason. The gore effects are not anything that stand out. It's at the end of the day, it just really is kind of an example of like what not to do with a horror movie from beginning to end.
It came out so late in the 80s too. I mean, at this point in 89, the slasher craze was pretty tired. People were over it. And this was this was one of the last slasher films released of the 80s, and it's sad because it's not good. And I don't know. I mean, that's all we can say about it. I enjoyed watching it just because of I got a kick out of it. It's just so absurd. So I don't think like I don't feel like, I wasted 2 hours. Or wasted an hour and a half, because I got entertainment out of it. Would I watch it again? No,
not unless someone asked me to specifically show them a bad movie to make fun of. And then I could be like, okay, well, then let me throw this into the ring because you guys aren't going to be able to compete. But yeah, it's one of the least effective slashers I've seen overall. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate it existing for the sake of tearing it apart. Because that was entertaining. And who do I love to judge a movie with better than you, Troy? You're always my favorite to sit down with and just pick it apart like two vultures over prey.
I don't think we were overly harsh to it. I mean, we found, some
the redeeming factors in this attempt at being a scary movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Memorial Valley Massacre. That's our first of Roger's quarantined picks.
The quarantine editions. Yeah.
This will be the quarantine edition.
Yeah. And so with that being said, it's really hard to say what the next one's going to be. We always like to, pre-establish what our next film will be for the next episode, but with all these things being said, I'm here for what could very well be another 10 days. And unfortunately here in Colombia, I can't access all the movies I would like to be able to watch. I could not access American Gothic. I'm so sad because I'm so excited to discuss that title with you. But we're gonna say the next one's gonna be a surprise. We're gonna leave it open ended, and who knows, Troy? Who knows what the next episode?
Well, I think we may be able to do American Gothic. So I will talk to you about that because we have Zoom. I have Zoom. We can watch it together. Even that. So
oh my god!
Zoom. So yeah, I think we can watch it. So let's say that we're probably gonna do American Gothic next.
Wow. Well, you just tickled my pickle.
But I'm
as you do.
But I'm glad. Yeah, I am glad that we got to do this film, even though it's a little early for Memorial Day. But hey, it's done and over with. So please expect us to do American Gothic next. Okay, I think we can make that work. Even if, like I said, there's ways to make it work. So that was fun. That was fun.
That was surprisingly fun and funny. Sometimes we need something a little light, and this movie may not be scary, but it certainly is light. And if you like watching a killer who can do an arabesque and a high kick, well, this is the one for you.
All while wearing a little, loincloth, this is for you.
Yeah. It's a tight little body on that killer. And some bad teeth. Well, Troy, I gotta get back to my bed. You know me, the COVID's kicking in, and I'm feeling weary.
Well, I hope.
But,
I hope I feel better.
Swoon.
Okay, but so guys, let us know what you thought about this episode. Again, we deeply apologize for any audio issues. I know there are going to be audio issues. It's not going to sound as good as our last couple episodes, as we were just getting into our I thought our phase of our audio sounding a lot better because we both got new mics. We were using a different program to record. Unfortunately, like we said, Roger's in Colombia, so it's not going to sound as good. However, I did not, and I don't think Roger did either, want to go, 2 weeks without putting an episode out. So
yeah, this is all for the fans.
It is.
It's all for you. So we do everything for you.
Yes, we will have more. So again, we do everything for you. So we're asking that you do one little thing and go on to Apple Podcasts or any of your podcast app and just give us a little 5-star rating. It's as simple as that. It's
the least you could do for me while I suffer through COVID.
Exactly.
I have it. I've got the COVID. What more can I do? I give you my blood. I give you my sweat. I give you my tears. All you can do is give me a review.
Right. Yes. Okay, so until next episode, where I really think we're going to do American Gothic.
I can't fucking wait.
You guys got a little bonus episode in between.
Bonus episode for the holiday.
Well, I feel like we're rambling now, but I feel like this is going to be, although having COVID sucks, being stuck in Colombia sucks, I really feel like this is going to be a good 2 weeks for the podcast because we will be able to get a lot of episodes at least recorded for for the future.
Absolutely. You guys are about to get a lot of fresh material. It may not sound the best, but you know what? Who needs quality audio when you got two sassy gays dishing to you?
Right. Yeah. All right, Roger.
And on that note, Troy, I'm going to bid you adieu.
Yes, you have a wonderful night.
I'm sick.
Yeah. Well, get better to watch American Gothic, okay?
All right, I will. And to our listeners, thank you for sticking with us. And I'll be talking to you when I get back in the States, maybe beforehand.
Yes.
All righty.
Good night, everyone.
Good night from Colombia.
Good night.